Hello to all the limitless people on the Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and my limitless tribe. Welcome back to this limitless show on this Wednesday evening. Thank you so much for joining me over here. And I'm so happy to be with you again with another amazing guest. So, I have a guest today who started her career in the HR field. She was an HR professional and she has been in United States and the Middle East, and then she found her purpose and she became a trainer and coach, and she has been doing some phenomenal work. She's a relationship coach, and she's affiliated to a lot of universities in Madhya Pradesh where she is, and she's also the state president for Wiki, and she will tell you about it, what it is all about. She relocated to India in the year 2017, and as a relationship expert, she's working with individuals and groups in corporate setting, and also she's empaneled as a coach with various forward looking universities, and she coaches graduate students dealing with the current scenario. The COVID is going on and there is so much of uncertainty all around, bringing them clarity, confidence. So without further ado, let me go ahead and bring on Preeti Khare with us. Hey Preeti, thank you so much for joining me over here. Most welcome here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anshu, for having me on your show. I'm totally, in the awe of the show. I've seen multiple episodes of yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a great honor you saying this. So, Preeti, I always begin with your life journey. I mean, how did you end up being into mentoring and coaching where you were an HR professional doing well for yourself? What brought about that transformation, that transition?
Yeah, yeah, wonderful question asked, Anshu, and it is certainly something that I like to talk about because it wasn't at the in a jiffy that I took that decision. It was a very conscious decision on my part. So as you said, I was in the HR field and I was working in the HR. I started my career pretty much as a teacher and then as a
Mm-hmm.
trainer, worked in the HR field. And then went to the United States after finishing my MBA, and where I actually volunteered various places in the United States because my visa was a dependent one, and I went along with my husband. And that put me in a condition where I just couldn't work, so I volunteered various places. And then later, when our visa status changed, all I wanted to do was really study and get a degree from a very good university in the United States. So I went ahead and repeated my master's in HR and did my
Mm-hmm.
MS in administration and human resources.
Wonderful.
Post that, I worked with wonderful companies. I was in the city of Columbus, and we
Mm-hmm.
had corporate offices for the companies like the Limited, which is the parent company for Victoria's Secret, Bath and Body Works,
Wonderful.
Justice and Pink, and all of those. And I worked with
Mm-hmm.
Wendys, and I worked with Safe Flight Auto. All of these companies, they had their corporate offices pretty much there in the city, and I worked with their HRs.
Right.
But in 2017, when we returned to India,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I was looking for places where I could find a fine balance between the work and the life at home, so work life balance,
Right.
and which
Right.
I very well tried to balance it in the United States, in Dubai, wherever different places that I worked. It was always very important for me to be alongside the kids when they are home and look after the family, along with really preserving my identity of who I am also,
Right.
what I want to do as a career person. But
Right.
when I came to India, I started working as a freelancer in the
Mm-hmm.
HR space, and there was, I mean, I can't explain you, Anshu, but really something was brewing inside of me, which told
Mm-hmm.
me that, there is something beyond, something much bigger that I want to do. And this profession which I am in currently is not, giving me that kind of utmost satisfaction. And that's
Right.
when, it was every day I would come back from work and it was like something missing in my life. And I
Right.
wanted to address that as soon as possible. So
Yes.
my husband, it is a great story. My husband used to keep sending me various, you know, the vacancies in HR space and all of that. And he would say,
Right.
"Oh, you want to talk to them, you would want to talk to them." And suddenly one fine day, I just have him sit by me and I told him, you know what? I don't want to do HR anymore. And
Right.
he was like, "So what do you want to do? I mean, HR, you just repeated your master's in the HR area from Central Michigan. And then now here
Right.
you're telling me in a year down the line that you don't want to do HR. What do you want to do?" And I said, "I don't know. I really do not know what I want to do. But currently, this is not what I want to do. So don't send me anything henceforth." And he said, "Okay, fine." And that's when, I just quit the job the next day and had this thing that I will sit and reflect. What is that where my calling can be? What is that I want to do in life? There has to be something bigger. And I actually stood at home doing absolutely nothing for 2 months and, trying to figure out what
Not able to hear you very clearly.
okay, yeah. Are you able to
Yeah.
hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So there was definitely something that I, thought that it is something that is making a lot of sense to me, and that was coaching. I started to explore, I started to personal develop myself and kept on, enriching myself with doing various certifications in this space of
Right.
personal
Right.
development. And then
Right.
thought that coaching is something that I want to do. And I began to do my ICF certification. That's what I did. I'm an ICF-ACC coach now. Uh, and that's where I found my purpose, my calling.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome. And then there was no looking back. You were completely satisfied with what you were doing, and you have never rethought about it.
Yeah. Once I came in this space, I think something that uh, I was missing in the previous job was
Hmm.
connecting with the
Right.
people, really having
Right.
that, you know, seeing that shift in the people, which I always thought is so important. Having gone
Right.
through my own experience working in academia, it wasn't easy, Anshu. It was a
Yes.
whole lot of. We came back almost about, spending 15 years abroad, and it wasn't easy for my kids and myself, and all
Yes.
of us to kind of come and settle back and again adapting with the culture. For my children, it was the first time. For me, it was
Yes.
like 15 years. So it was like,
Yes.
uh, you know, there was something more to it, in which I went through those own transformations of my own self, having various questions within myself. And
Right.
each time I got the answer that I really need to do something that really creates that impact on people. So I
Amazing.
think
Amazing.
coaching is some space where you can be very fulfilling when it comes to that experience, of making that shift.
Yes, that's so true. Actually speaking, it's so true. You directly impact people's lives.
Yes,
So
yes.
that the kind of satisfaction that gives you is like unparalleled, I
Yes,
think.
absolutely, absolutely. It's very satisfying. It is ultimately, you see people transforming. You see
Yes.
students, like currently I'm working with a lot of students right now who are just
Yes.
graduates with various universities. And that shift that happens, Anshu, is just mind blowing. You people telling you things like, ma'am, when I had this first coaching conversation, it was like an experience where my whole, the way I looked at life, it changed.
Right.
And I
Right.
felt so satiating within, just to hear something like that you could actually make a shift in the way how people think. And that's what I
Yes.
enjoy this space, tremendously, because if you can make that shift and impact in people's life like this, wherein people
Hmm.
will think differently, it's amazing.
True.
Yeah.
So what according to you, you are a relationship coach, Preeti. So what according to you are relationships? And is there any common thread that runs between, like, we have different relationships in our life. We have the relationship with our spouse, with our children, with our parents, with siblings, friends, colleagues. There are different kinds of relationships in life, but is there a common thread that runs through all the various types of relationships, so that if we maintain that particular thread, all the relationships are taken care of? Is there anything like that, and what according to you are relationships?
Yeah, yeah, beautiful, beautiful question asked. So any connect, whether it is made made connect, which is like you get into a relationship, getting married, which is when I say made connect, and
Right.
something which you're given, like your parents, you are
Yes.
given, and there is a you can't do much about it. That is what you're bond with, right, with your
Right.
parents. Similarly, with the
Right.
kids that happen to you, it is something, it's
Right.
not your choice which kid and what kind of kid. So similarly, some are made relationships, which in you
Mm-hmm.
you have a choice to select your mate, you have a choice to
Right.
select your friends, you have a choice to select your company and your employer. While there are
Yes.
certain relationships which you do not have any choice with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the common thread that you asked me, what is important and what relationship means to me, it clearly means a whole lot of acceptance. Clearly means whole lot of acceptance in any relationship, no matter what and whichever
Mm-hmm.
relationship you talk about. I think
Mm-hmm.
it is acceptance when you come with that unconditional love for people, that
Right.
unconditional thing that it is not based out of, if you do this, that's when I am more close to you, or I love you
Right.
more. When it is totally based out of, no matter what you are and the way you
Right.
are, if I can accept you the way you are, I think that is what is relationship to me. That is what a healthy relationship to me. And it is unparalleled, beautiful experience. I also feel, Anshu, that, and why I chose relationship as the niche is precisely because, having traveled various countries, and seeing various cultures,
Right.
all that I found, which is common across cultures, across countries, is one thing, which is, if you can have the best of the, amenities, best of the infrastructure, best of the, houses to live in, and uh, best jobs to work for, but
Right.
something that can leave you unfulfilled is if you have relationships around you that are not satisfying relationships, that are not healthy relationships. So that is so important and crucial to have relationships which are more fulfilling. They give you the sense of living every day, the worth that you feel, right? And the same thing stands true also, that the most painful experiences that one could have is also because of the relationships. So if so you can experience um a whole lot of misery when the relationships are not working well for you, and you can experience a whole lot of joy and fulfillment and happiness if you have wonderful relationships around you.
That is absolutely so true, because no matter what we do, we need to share the joys as well as sorrows
Yes.
at any given point of time with at least a few people. And if we are doing everything in isolation, there's no joy in life. There's absolutely no joy in life.
So true.
And no one is perfect. No one is perfect.
Yes.
Everyone comes with their own unique, weaknesses, their unique, yeah, challenges.
Yes, yes, so true. Yeah. So yes, so that is why I say that, relationship to me precisely means if you can really accept people the way they are, and
Yes.
there are. I mean, I would not say that you can always be very happy with the relationships around you, but can you be magnanimous to think that the intent behind this? If you're not,
Yes.
there is a conflict. Seeing it
Yes.
not on the face of the conflict, but really
Yes.
seeing it from the standpoint that what is the intention behind it.
Right.
Parents and kids, this is I mean, so many cases, so many clients that I have right now is
Mm-hmm.
typically the parents not having wonderful relationship with their kids, the the children isolating themselves and not speaking at home, and there were so
Mm-hmm.
sorts of problems. Parents having lots of challenges, especially during the COVID times when we got to stay even more. It was
Yes.
suffocating, for everybody
Yes.
to be staying in the in the home.
Home in that enclosed environment.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and it was like everybody's space and the freedom was curtailed, and that's when we really
Yes.
understood that it gets too suffocating. We are too much bumping into each other. So around this time, there were so many cases, not just spouses or in-laws and other things, but also parent and child relationship. And that's when we understand that when the parents say something to the child, it is not that we try to see that what is the parent trying to tell me. And you cannot encroach my space, and you cannot, this is my thing or my gadget. It is to see the intent behind it, and the vice versa also is applicable, which is like when the child says something, it is not to see just on the face of it that okay, he said such harsh words. Or we as parents also need to go beyond and really see how this child is not getting to meet his friends, how his child is not really enclosed in this, the inside of home. So what is the psychology that is playing, and can we
Yes.
really be able to think beyond what we want them to do, but really let them and allow them to be themselves for some time. That's what is the key, I think, is accepting people as they are and seeing the intent behind it, not taking it personally, is relationship.
So, can you elaborate? I mean, that was in fact the next question that I had for you. That, can you talk more in detail about what a parent and child relationship is all about? And, how they can be mutually accepting of each other and still, giving each other space. I mean, how can it be made like as perfect as possible, where they both understand each other's perspectives, the viewpoints, and of course the gap that is there, that is there, but then it has to be accepted and moved ahead from there. So
Yeah.
please talk about this.
Yeah, yeah. And sure, good question, indeed, again. And what I would like to say, and with my own experiences, I can actually share wonderful experiences. My son, let me tell you this story. I think it is personal to me, but I
Hmm.
like sharing it because it will give the listeners and the viewers a perspective on of how there is nothing which is impossible in this world, is what I've understood
Right.
now.
Sure,
uh,
sure, please.
and going through, as I said, going through my own experiences, it is
Right.
a full circle. Life I feel is a full circle. So it
Yes.
teaches you all kinds of experiences, and then
Yes.
sometimes you just lose hope, and you're like,
Right.
oh, there is nothing left in this. But you
Yes.
see that ray of light with your efforts, with constant
Right.
persistence, and that strong desire to
Hmm.
go in certain directions. So when I'm saying that I want to share my personal story, so I was sort of a parent who was, and I am. I mean, I think I into the discipline side, where I want kids to behave a certain way, and then
Right.
and more so from the standpoint of having a certain structure to their day. And
Uh-huh.
I am a big proponent of that, having a
Right.
structure to my mornings, having a structure to my day, really following through something that I've started. So I think I had my own ideas about how somebody should be living a life, and especially when it came to my kids, I wanted them to grow a certain way, you know
Hmm.
and it was a bummer to me when my older one, when he started to grow up, and it was like, we came after his 8th grade to India, and it was a
Hmm.
whole lot of change for him. I was trying to understand and step into his shoes, wherein psychologically I wanted to be with him, trying to, but there is a huge difference between the generations. So as much as we
Right.
try to
Hmm.
be with our children, we cannot be in their space. And that's
Right.
when the kids start to tell you that this is my space. And they don't want that kind of interference. And also suddenly the children start to grow up wherein they tell you that, stop telling me, stop being so much of a parent, and I can
Right.
handle myself. And you as a parent, and myself, like I as a parent, it is not very easy to accept, Anju, when you're
Right.
pushed to that corner that you're told, okay, not pushed physically, but being pushed to that corner wherein you're told that suddenly you're not needed, in
Yes.
their lives. And at a
Yes.
certain point in time, you were like, okay, this is what you should be doing. Have you done your homework? Have you done this and that? And I was like a parent who was concerned about the child, the homework, and especially coming to India, it was like a whole lot of, as I said, change for them. So I wanted to be, are they all right, doing all right? But that supposedly was too much of an intrusion
Mm-hmm.
from the
Mm-hmm.
child standpoint. And I had my own challenges when my older one started to tell me that it is too much of encroachment into my space.
Right.
And there was a
Right.
point in time in our lives when it became quite bitter, in the sense that there was a constant usage of the laptop, and as parents we don't want so much of exposure to the media. And
Right.
you're also concerned, being a parent, that what is the child watching, and you're busy
Hmm.
doing your own things. You can't constantly be hovering and then waiting
Yes.
to know what the child is doing. So there was a lot of anxiety at my part, being
Yes.
the first one growing, and
Right.
having the laptop all through. So there was this a control that I wanted to exert. But what happened was it backfired big time.
Hmm.
And the child was like completely, he wanted to isolate himself, did not want to tell us anything, and all sorts of things. There was a time when there was hardly any exchange of words, and the more you want to enter his room and enter his space, it was like he would be just a very quiet child, and he would not utter anything. So that kind of used to
Right.
be very concerning. And also
Right.
whatever interactions would happen would be very bitter at some point in time. The uh, thing which actually changed the game was when I started to realize that the 3 years after we came back, so his eighth, ninth, and sorry, ninth, 10th, and 11th passed like that, wherein, I was more of a controlling parent. And suddenly, it was an awakening for me. I was undergoing my own transformation, also trying to figure out that I want to come into this space of coaching. So I was also thinking a lot in terms of reflection, and uh, thinking, what do I do, what I do correctly, and do I not do so good. So the question that I started to ask myself was that I have just 1.5 year left with this child. After this, he will be gone. Is that I want to be remembered as a mother who was constantly nagging, or constantly angry, or do I want to really be remembered as somebody who has built some good memories and all of that. And I also was thinking that, do I want to remember him as a rebel child also? And when I asked this question each time, the answer definitely was a big no. So what is the choice then that I had? I began to ask myself, how do I fix it? Because it has gone to a point where I couldn't see, you know, a completion of this circle, or something where I could see a solution, how to kind of fix it, how to come into that space wherein two of us have a good relationship. I think that was very, very, fearful for me, wherein I started to
Mm-hmm.
start reflecting on what do I do. And when I thought
Right.
about this year, it was like, I have just this time to fix this,
Yes.
and if I have to fix it, I have to go any which way to try and fix it, in the sense that I
Right.
know that all the control that you have is only on yourself and not on the child, because he is not ready to understand. And if you want it so bad that you want to repair this relationship, and have a wonderful relationship with this child, then it is all the difference, without expecting what can you do. And that's
Yes.
when I began to really make not just one or two, but whole lot of changes, wherein I just completely gave him that independence and that trust And
Mm-hmm.
unconditional love, whatever, you know, case may be, it was like, okay, I'm there
Right.
for you. And then
Mm-hmm.
co-dreamt with him whatever his
Mm-hmm.
dreams were. So if his dreams were to go to the US and do his undergrad, I was co-dreaming, I was, waking up with him. It was totally in stepping in his space
Right.
virtually, and not in the space in the physical sense, but really
Mm-hmm.
dreaming together. So that's
Right.
when, in 1 year's time, the entire not even 1 year, I to tell you the truth, it was just above, a little more than 6 months, that I just totally changed the game. It was like, you know somebody where we were not even in the speaking terms, Anshu. It came
Right.
to the point that we were sitting together, and when he wrote his essays and all that, I was sitting, he was showing it to me, Mama, this is what I did. So it is like such a beautiful thing to kind
Mm-hmm.
of prepare and then come back to terms with people. But it takes a whole lot of effort, where you can drop your expectations to the point that your
Yes.
ego, you have to put it in the grinder and really crush it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then that's when, you should be, I mean, you won't believe, but I really had to stand in front of you one more time. And I would not say had to, but I wanted to really stand and then tell him that, please forgive me for what I have done. And it is not easy being a parent, where you have to
Yes.
face that, this. But when the question to you is whether this relationship or this child is more important to you, or your ego is more important to you, or this
Yes.
laptop is more important to you, when you begin to ask those profound questions to yourself, that's when,
Yes.
it comes to the awakening that, my goodness, I know that the relationship is far more important. And that's when you're ready to do anything for the
Anything to make it work.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And then you
Yes.
begin to see, once you have dropped those expectations and you're giving that
Yes.
unconditional love without
Hmm.
conditions, totally trusting the person in front of you, is when
Hmm.
it just changes.
Right. So true.
So
So true.
yeah, so
Beautiful.
this is my own life's experience, wherein, now, if you ask me today that who is the person on earth that cherish the relationship the most with, I think my answer will be my eldest son.
Wonderful, wonderful, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this story of yours. I know it's personal, but then, yeah, I'm sure it has inspired a lot of, parents amongst us who might be actually going through the similar challenge,
Yeah.
unable to figure out what to do.
Yes. So the mantra is to ask yourself, that important question, or the questions that you may want to, that what is more important, is whatever we are fighting for, or is the conflict more important, or is the person behind it more important? So I think my
Absolutely.
thing is that, let's fight fair. Let's fight fair, wherein we are fighting for the relationship that we want to maintain, and not fighting against that person.
Right.
So
Yes.
mhm.
So, thank you so much. Coming to now, I think you are also, you just said that you had want everything to be structured, be it your own life or the, children. So
Yes.
that kind of brings me to the question that you talk about self-care. So, what is this self-care and why are mornings so important for the same? I mean, not any part of the day, but the mornings.
Yeah, Anshu. This, I mean, I am a relationship coach and I work with people, but at the same time, I think another transformation that I like to talk about a lot, and which has changed my life significantly, is, giving my mornings a structure. So I was always a very disciplined person, when it came disciplined in terms of what I want to do, how I want to do, and certain goals that I assign to myself, and then work towards them. So somebody who always had a goal in front of it, myself, and then work
Right.
towards it. But
Right.
had I the mornings the way that I spend them now, I never
Mm-hmm.
had those mornings in my life earlier. If I talk about 2 years, if I go back in time, and 2 years from now, if I talk backwards, I don't
Mm-hmm.
think that I had this structured morning. So I always got up like around 6:30, not beyond
Mm-hmm.
that, but never at 5.
Right.
And what really happened to me was that I went through. I'm reading a lot of books, and I read a lot of books. So and books I feel are, you know, a window to transformation. If anybody
Yes.
really want change in life,
Yes.
I think the kind of genre that you're reading, it can, impact you in a big way. And so
Mm-hmm.
this book that I came across, Anshu, which was called 5 a.m. Club, and it is by Robin Sharma, wherein he talks about, elevating the morning,
Yes.
and then, transforming your life. I
Yes.
read this, and there was a couple of other things. It is, coincidentally, a lot of things happened, at the same time, which told me, again, like an awakening, that there is something that I want to do about my mornings and add more time to my day. You know, I
Yes.
would I would sleep normally around 11:30 ish, and then get up at 6:30. But what I really learned after reading that book, and
Mm-hmm.
recently for me, as I said, that I kind of work with certain discipline. So if I think about things, I'm a very stubborn when it comes to taking those, decisions, which sort of feel very transforming, right? So when I read this book, I was like, okay, from tomorrow, it is from tomorrow. So over a period of time, I was mulling over that book, and I found it
Mm-hmm.
so interesting. And
Mm-hmm.
how he talks about this 20 rule,
Mm-hmm.
which it's a transformation in itself. So once I read that book, it was like, okay, I need to do something about my mornings to add those extra hours so that I can be very, very productive and also invite self care. So I would do my meditations earlier, I would do
Right.
my yoga and other things earlier, but never in a structured manner that, from this time to this time, this. So the mornings, once I read the book, it was like, he talks about this 20 rule, which is, once you get up at 5 a.m, and it is the first 20 minutes, that powerful hour that he talks, the powerful 60 minutes. Out of that, he divides it into three sections. The first 20 minutes are for the movement, which is about the exercise. The next 20 are for your, reading or journaling, reading and writing. And the next 20, he talks about the spiritual self, or the soul set that he calls it, which is about, really doing meditation and really doing something for your soul. So I
Yes.
think the middle thing, which was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
20 minutes of reading and writing, which was,
Mm-hmm.
sometime in the day for me, but not really a part of my morning, which I
Right.
thought is a wonderful idea.
Mm.
Starting the day reading something that you want to read. I
Right.
normally read, as I told you, so I would read it in the day. I would have, okay, this book is going on, so I will read it in the day. But reading
Mm.
that book and getting reading and writing in the morning routine was such a blow into the life. It was like, I could accomplish so much because that reading and writing happened in the morning with a fresh mind, with the fresh, ideas. So those 60 minutes, they mean a lot. So now what I do, and why I am a big proponent of my mornings, is that how we should have a structured morning is, I devote 3 hours in the morning, Anju, towards my self-care. 3 hours.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And when I say 3 hours, of course, the first hour that I talked about goes like that.
Yes.
Beyond that, it is my art of living, which is, my Sudarshan Kriya. Then there is yoga. Then there is some kind of, introspection on how the life is going and all of that. So I think these 3 hours are so important. Once I begin the day on this note, wherein there is gratitude there, where there is affirmations there, where I begin the day with a tone that is set for the day, I come out confident. I come out,
Right.
ready, prepared to encounter the world and really to
Yes.
accomplish a lot. So the first 3 hours really mean a lot, and I help a lot of my clients and the students. especially who I work with, to get their mornings structured, to really
Right.
work around with a structure, with a routine, so that you start your day with such a positive positivity, that when you face challenges and when you have to make tough decisions in your life, you already have set the stage for that. So normally when people sometimes people keep the exercise time, sometimes the reading time
Hmm.
during the end
Hmm.
of the day. But what really happens is when you go out for work, or when you're doing other things in the day where you have to take those tough decisions in your life, it
Right.
kind of exhausts you somewhere, and with that exhausted mind and the exhausted physical energy, there's not
Hmm.
much that you can really do when it comes to self-care. So I
Right.
really believe that people who devote these
Hmm.
crucial hours of the day in the morning towards self-care,
Rest.
it just
Hmm.
changes your life in a big way. It has changed mine.
Amazing. Amazing. So, how can you basically, you also talk about time management and boosting your productivity.
Yeah,
So, once you have done this self care routine, like for 3 hours in the morning,
yeah.
do you feel that it makes you more efficient and more productive?
Yes, it does. It does, Anshu. So once you know these things, so for one, that getting up early, 5 a.m., you've already added some hours to your life, right? Instead of getting up at 6:30 or 7, which was my normal, way of operating, I added these hours to my life, which is 1.5 hour extra to my life, which I kind of devote now to reading, heavy reading, or listening to an audiobook while walking and all of that. So it has necessarily given that uh, structure to my reading habit also, that it comes in the morning. I have those ideas when I come down from the terrace after I've heard to that audiobook. I come down and write the ideas that I really got while listening to that book. So I achieve more, I become more efficient in terms of uh, you know uh, again, as I said, those fresh ideas, they allow me think very intelligently during the day of the certain presentations that I want to make, certain workshops that I want to design, certain products that I want to make, who to approach, and all those things. So it definitely has helped me to be more efficient, to be more productive, and to hit the world with a lot of confidence. Because the more you
Wonderful.
achieve, Anshu, I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
you would agree with me there. The sense of accomplishment that you get,
Yes.
you know and that
Yes.
you, after achieving certain things, it gives you a very different set of confidence. And the more confidence you have, you approach the world very differently, wherein people respect you for
Absolutely.
your confidence, where people respect you for your knowledge, for
Yes.
the way you approach things. So I think,
Yes.
yes, to answer your question, it has helped me big time.
Amazing, amazing. So that's, I think, a very good takeaway for everyone in the audience. I mean, if you are not kind of structuring your mornings and, making the best out of it, you'll kind of keep struggling throughout your day. It might not be as productive as you want it to be.
Yeah.
So that actually boosts your productivity as well. So now, Preeti, what is basically purposeful living and why is it important? And basically, my main question, more than that, is how do you know in your life that you are living a life of purpose?
Anshu. So, uh, purposeful living for me is like, we all live and we have to earn our bread and butter. For all of us, it is important, right? And
Yes,
people
yes,
like the students, they have different set of goals. As adults, people who are working and into our careers, we have a different set of goals. But at certain point in time in our lives, you know you have achieved certain things, you have seen the best of the worlds. For me, it was pretty much, seeing, having traveled various countries, doing various jobs, getting exposed to the most wonderful infrastructure in the world. Having seen all of that, you begin to ask yourself certain bigger questions, which is, why I am here, what is the purpose of my life, what is
right.
beyond this if I was doing a
Right.
good job. Yes, certainly I was making a difference in organizations. I was making a difference in people's lives in some way, like professionally. But
Yes.
a lot of people, Anshu, this is again a story and an anecdote that I would like to tell you. It's also in various jobs and also as a mom. Lot of times, something that people told me most of the times was that when I connect with people and when they were in trouble, the
Mm-hmm.
way I could talk to them, it offered them various solutions. During that conversation, they found a lot of meaning, they found their solutions in the conversation they had with me. That
Right.
was something that really helped me take the decision towards what is the next calling for me. When I sat back for 2 months and when I was thinking on what is that calls me, what is that I want to do in my life next, I was always interested in the personal development space, and I was
Right.
already undergoing various certifications, as I told you, smaller certifications into the personal development side. But what is that I really want to do that can help me have that bread and butter on the table, feel
Mm-hmm.
self worth, and also think about my self identity at the same time, also use certain strengths of mine, which when I
Mm-hmm.
sat back and thought, it was like, oh my goodness, how people told me all the time, the moms of my children, friends, they always told me that, Preeti, there's something in you that which when we talk, it is very comforting, it gives us solutions during that. So when I was sitting back and thinking, I was like, can I do something for
Around
people?
that.
Can I
Yes.
do something that really helps people think differently, get them more clarity, give them more confidence, courage?
Right.
So all of those things, I think, put together, helped me solve this puzzle for me and think about my own transformation. How can I really work upon myself? How can I set certain milestones for myself and try to see and become a different human being, a better individual first, and then try and, implement this in the outside world and help other people. So I think purposeful living for me, Anshu, is when you really find the answer to the question, which is why I am here on this planet.
Yes. So true.
And we all ask, believe you me, at some point in time in our lives, I asked that, 3 years ago, when I was like struggling to find out, and I asked that question, and each time the answer was that, you know it's has to be something different. It certainly is not this. And that's when, it is good time and good space for each one of us to actually sit and reflect. Reflection does help. It helps you put things in perspective. It did allow me that space, where, I could sit back and think that probably this is some place where I need to focus on, where people can benefit, where I can actually help people in a bigger way. And when I see the bigger picture, it is like, okay, when I look back 10 years from now, 20 years from now, I think I will see those students that I've coached, those people that I've made a difference to, and the children that I've helped, or have been impacted through my work. I think all this is purposeful living, where you're very, very intentional. You're very intentional about what is lying ahead for you. You know, that is
Right.
purposeful living.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much for the answer. So now, Preeti, we are just almost, coming towards the end of the first round, but I have a couple of questions more. So, would want the audience to know what is Wiki, and as the state president for Wiki, what is your role in it? What exactly do you do?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah. So, Anshu, Wiki, first of all, it is a non-for-profit organization. It is
Mm-hmm.
a organization which is like Women Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Wiki, WICCI. And
Right.
Wiki, as I said, it is a not-for-profit, and it is one of the biggest organizations
Mm-hmm.
internationally that works for women empowerment, for women
Right.
education, for women empowerment. Now, there are about
Mm-hmm.
we lack women internationally in, you talk about a country and Vicky is present there, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So within India also, and it was started by an Indian. So I'm very proud to say that Dr. Anshu Todi is the founder president of Wiki. Her idea
Mm-hmm.
was to, help women, or she
Right.
started to think around the lines of women empowerment. So now
Mm-hmm.
Wiki has various councils, Anshu,
Right.
and there are about 164 different councils, different types: child
Okay.
council, coaching council, yoga council, whatnot. Also,
Okay. Okay. Got it. Huh.
and being a coach, every state also has a council. So the structure goes like that: that there is a national council, then there are state
Mm-hmm.
councils, there are
Mm-hmm.
regional councils, there are city councils. So as MP state,
Right.
what my role is, I am the
Right.
president for MP Coaching Council. So I'm the
Okay.
president of Wiki MP State Coaching Council. So I started
Right.
the coaching council over here, and the council
Mm-hmm.
typically is made up of 22 members. There are 22 members
Mm-hmm.
in the council, and they can be coaches or people from various walks of life, meaning from industry, from academia. So in my council I have wonderful coaches from MP, and there are also people from other walks of life, as I said, from academia and all of that. Now
Mm-hmm.
what do we do, and what is my role? Now,
Mm-hmm.
as president, the idea, or the vision for MP State Coaching Council is to spread the awareness of coaching and to make coaching accessible to every person,
Okay.
every person. So
Mm-hmm.
having said that, that this is the organization for women, uh, by women. So the people inside of the council can only be women. But
Okay.
in NP State Council, I'm not segregating men and women here. So what I want to tell the people, or people who are listening to me, is that when I go and then we launch a coaching intervention, whether it is a
Mm-hmm.
corporate or whether it is an institute, you know, uh, via Wiki, I don't discriminate between men and women. So we are coaching boys and girls, students per se, or women.
Mm-hmm.
We don't discriminate between men and women here. We're coaching anybody and everybody, and also trying to create that awareness which is not there, when it comes to coaching.
Right. Right. Do you want to have some water?
Yeah, I think I will do that. Yes.
Okay. That's
So
fantastic,
what
I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we are doing currently, Anshu, is that through Wiki, we are actually approaching various institutions, various corporates, and then trying to give them free coaching orientations, telling them what coaching really means, how it can help the students, the faculty, the employees, the leaders, and once that orientation is there, people understand what coaching is all about, and then we launch a coaching intervention where we are one on one
Right.
coaching the students, or one coaching faculty one on one, or the startups one on one. So that's what we are doing, which is pretty much free of cost.
Amazing. Amazing. So that sounds like a great initiative. I mean,
Yes.
whoever started it, but I think, the vision was great, and I'm sure it's helping loads of people.
Yes, it is. And it is very satisfying again. It is something that again gives me that sense of purpose, the sense of meaning that you find
Yes.
working it through group coaching. We kind of
Right.
impart the awareness of coaching to so many, so many. So I
Yes.
think, having said that, that we are doing that, we started our coaching council in the month of July. And so
Mm-hmm.
far, we have actually run the coaching orientations for more than about 9 universities in various cities in MP state, and we have started one-on-one coaching intervention also. So it is
Amazing.
very satisfying.
Great. Great work. I'm sure, wish you all the best and the organization to keep on doing this phenomenal work, actually, which is impacting so many lives.
Hmm. Yes.
So, coming to the last question for this round, do you believe in limitlessness, first of all? And what, according to you, is limitlessness, and who are the people, or I mean, who is limitless according to you? It's completely your point of view.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, first of all, Anshu, I mean, I like the name of your show, Limitless, because that takes me into a very different dimension, wherein I associate limitlessness to transformation, really. You know, so people become. It is totally unbelievable, totally unfathomable, wherein what your potential is, we just don't know what we are capable of. So limitlessness for me is really realizing that unrealized potential that we carry within ourselves, and becoming the best version, where we can't imagine. We are surprised by so many things that we think that they're undoable or we can't do it, and then suddenly one fine day we take that decision for ourselves, a conscious
Yes,
decision, and
yes,
change the world completely for
yes,
ourselves. So I
yes,
think limitlessness for me is being into that unstoppable zone for yourself, wherein your potential, can be realized to a limit where even you can't imagine.
yes, yes. So beautiful. So, who, according to you, is limitless?
Well, to be honest, anybody who wants to take charge of his life,
Yes,
anybody. So we as coach, you Anshu, you and I, we are both coaches. We know what happens to people, what has
yes,
happened to us. I mean, looking
yes,
back, as I told about my story, if I look back 3 years ago, I would not talk like that. I was not the person who I am today, and very proud.
yes,
So
yes,
it takes work, it
yes.
takes
It does.
commitment, and
Yes,
it takes courage, for you to take that decision for yourself, that now it is the time
yes,
to think about the purpose, to think about the meaning. So, and one
right,
can become limitless just by taking that radical step into your life, wherein you say that, okay, from today I take charge of my life. No more going this way which has not served me enough.
right.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. So, we now move on to the next round, which is more a fun round,
Okay.
and it's called the lightning bolt round.
Okay.
So,
Interesting.
yeah, let's transition into that. Okay. So, which country gave you the maximum freedom to be yourself or what you wanted to be?
Okay. So, which country? I think, if you allow me, and then if I can say that, it'll be two countries actually. India being India, and my country and our country, which is, it allows you, because of the citizenship status that I carry here. I think it is something, some country which gave me a lot of freedom to do be myself. But Dubai was no bad. It gave me the freedom to be and to do whatever I felt like also.
Amazing. Amazing. That was unexpected, but yeah, I mean, comes as a surprise, but most welcome surprise.
Yes, yes, it did. It did. And it gave me also the best of the both worlds. I mean, it is an amazing place. Given a choice, I think I would like to finally settle down in Dubai. I really love that place. Yeah,
Amazing. Are you an instinctive person or a logical person?
instinctive, totally.
Wow,
Totally.
same like me.
Logical, I get logical sometimes, but most of the time it is, I go by the gut and instincts.
Yes, yes. What is your most favorite possession?
Ah, I think now I have a different answer. I think myself and my sanity.
And
Yes.
if I ask you about the worldly possession,
My children, my children.
okay,
Yeah. So what do I possess? I think I would say a couple of books that I carry now. They are very, very dear to me, and I would like to read them as and when I get some time. But yes, I think my children.
Amazing. Are you a sun person or a moon person? I mean, do you like soaking in under the sun, or do you like actually, going out under the moon and doing those moon meditations and all that
Moon.
stuff? So,
I'm, you know, uh, and we go if we go by logic. I think sun. I like the brightness part of it, but Anshu, I'm allergic to sun, so I get a lot of skin allergies. So I think I like the moon, and I like the quietness and the calmness of the moon. So moon.
right. Great, great. So, just fill in the blanks. Coaching is all about
Uh, Transformation, transition.
helping people, basically. Yeah.
You asked
Wow.
a word, and I was trying to
Right,
find.
right. Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. The most part of your life has revolved around.
Mm, the most part of my life has revolved around. I think I had a troubled childhood, so I think figuring out what to do next. I was always on the go, and I am a person like that who's always looking for a next. What is next in my life? What is next? So I think some because of the circumstances, and some
Hmm.
now I have become a person, by choice. One thing accomplished. It's like what next?
What next?
Yeah.
Great, great. Your all-time favorite song?
Um, I like the song, which is an old song. There is the song called, I don't know why, but Tum Be Sahara Ho To. I just love it. Kisi Ka
Hmm.
Sahara Bano. And
Okay.
yeah, so multiple times in the school choir, I don't know why, but I sang this song and it came very naturally to me. This song from, mm, I'm forgetting the name of the movie, but it is Rajesh Khanna there. And this is just one of my favorite songs. And now when I think back, that why did I love this song when I was a kid? Now it sort of resonates so much with what I'm doing in life. Uh,
Right.
so yes, that's my favorite song.
Awesome. Awesome. So you did share about, I mean, because my next question was about one book that has made the most impact in your life. Would it be the 5 a.m. Club, or is there anything else too?
Well, I think the most impact that I have had, there are many, many of those kinds, but I think this book called The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Murphy
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
one of my favorite books, and I would recommend to anybody who's listening to me to really tap into your inner world, into your subconscious mind, and
Mm-hmm.
really figure out what is your purpose of life.
Amazing. Yeah, it's a great book. Great, great book, I
It
think.
is. Mm.
What do you say to yourself when you feel low and demotivated at any point? What is that you say to yourself that pulls you up?
Mm. Um, I think no matter what is my favorite phrase these days, and I just like saying that, get up, get charged up, get going, feel positive, no matter what. So life is all about, these challenges. Life is all about ups and lows. So I think one thing that resonates with me, I just say that just get up, get going, do something. Life is all about, those moves. So no matter what is like the
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, because no matter what, I mean, life doesn't get over till the
yes.
time you call it quits.
Yes, yes. And it also gives me that, the sense of charge that one takes of his life, that I will do this regardless. I will do it
Yes,
no matter what. So, like, for example, Anshu, like getting up, as I say, the 5 a.m. thing, it's not easy to anybody that this transition takes some time and a lot of courage,
yes,
and it is like time and again slipping back. But it is once you say to yourself, no matter what, I will do it. I think that's when it's a game changer.
yes. So true. And last, Define Preeti in one line.
Um, I would say love as it's also is the meaning of my name, and I think uh, coming from that space, I know it can really create wonders. So Preeti is all about love and warmth. UK, Anshu?
Yeah.
Yeah, you think
Sorry
about
to the audience and you. Since afternoon, I think maybe I've got some cold.
yeah, but
I've been constantly coughing, unable
highly
to speak.
appreciable that regardless, I mean, you're doing it no matter what.
That's what it is all about, end of the day.
Yes,
So I had a fantastic time.
yes,
This was an amazing conversation, and I'm sure the audience has taken home loads of implementable stuff. I'm sorry, I cannot speak too much.
don't worry, Anshu. I mean, it was a pleasure, equal pleasure to be on the show, and it was wonderful talking to you. You had some wonderful questions to ask, and I'm sure, as you said, that the people who are listening to me, I think there is uh, always something that we can get from. When we listen to people, when we
Yes,
learn from their experiences, I have learned a lot from listening to people, watching those
yes,
YouTube videos, reading those books, and I'm sure
yes,
people who are listening to them, each one of us will be able to find something for themselves, I guess.
yes. So true. And any just last message that you want to give to the people before you leave?
Yeah. So I think the last message would be, in today's world, in today's world when there is COVID going on, as much as we are with each other, physically with each other, but I think mentally, emotionally, it is the gadget that takes most of the time. So I think one thing that is, as a relationship coach, also, I like to tell people, or plead actually, is try and make time for each other. Try and
Yes,
make that time to build that connection. We need to invest in people and invest
yes,
that time in people. So we
yes,
can't expect looking at the gadgets, looking at the phones, and trying to tell our children not to really do the same. So for building those important connections and taking our relationships to the next level, I think it's very important to invest in each other via time. So make time and be with each other and try to spend that quality time with each other. That is the only thing I would like to say.
it's a beautiful message which I totally resonate with. Thank you so much for all your time and the value that you brought on the show. It was a pleasure hosting you over here. Thank you
Thank
so much, Preeti.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anshu. It was totally a pleasure being on this show. And I'm sure that, as much as you enjoyed, I enjoyed it equally, believe you me.
Thank you
Thank
so much. Thank you. You have a great night ahead.
you. You too. You too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Hey people, I hope you enjoyed this show as much as I did. Yes, my throat is not good. I have a sore throat since afternoon, and it's been really terrible. But I hope I've still been able to do justice to the show. Thank you for bearing with me, and I bless you. Uh, be rested for the night. Have a great week ahead, and I'll meet you next week with another phenomenal guest. You take care. Be limitless. Bye bye. Good night.